Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the last episode of Daredevil Born Again, episode 9. We're going to be talking about this episode. We're going to be talking about the whole season as a whole, my thoughts and opinions on just like everything. If you haven't seen the last episode, stop watching this video, go watch it right now, and then come back and watch this video, obviously. And so yeah, man, just we're gonna talk about this episode and talk about things we didn't like, or I'm gonna talk about things I didn't like, talk about things I did like, and we'll go from there. So just starting off with this episode in particular, as a finale, I gotta say I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this last episode. It's definitely not like the best finale I've seen from like a television show or like Daredevil in general, but it was pretty good. There's a lot of things that happened in this episode. Obviously, one of the main things that we get to see again is the Punisher teaming up with Daredevil again in this episode. Yes, we get Frank Castle again back as the Punisher. The last time he was in this show, he had like a full-grown beard and like long hair, but like in this episode, I guess he decided to shave or like whatever for this occasion. But no, he's in this episode. He teams up with Matt to take on basically the corrupted, police force that's run by Wilson Fisk. And so we get them both together. Seeing them both together again, I gotta say, was pretty cool. Always love seeing them in their little banter between each other and their little interactions. Obviously, one likes to kill and one and the other one does not kill. So it is interesting. It is interesting to see them both working together and them having very different ways of dealing with criminals and just bad guys in general. But also, this episode just starts with Matt in the hospital. Last episode he got shot trying to save Wilson Fisk's life because Bullseye was trying to assassinate him. And in this episode, he starts off in the hospital. He knows now that Vanessa was the one behind Foggy's death or his murder, and we basically we get a scene actually with Vanessa, and I think it's one of the first scenes. I think it might be the first scene in the episode, but she's at this rehabilitation place, and she's talking to Bullseye, and she's basically, this scene was crazy because obviously Bullseye is as a character, he's a person who is supposed to be, the dude's basically like a sociopath. He kills people for no good reason. He's just dude's got issues. But in this scene when Vanessa is talking to Dex and she's explaining why, or she's basically trying to manipulate Dex into becoming, or into him trying to become a cold-hearted killer again. And this scene really kind of just hit home with the idea that Vanessa really is just as ruthless, or maybe even more ruthless than Wilson Fisk himself. Just that scene with her and him, and there's a part where he has to take these pills to obviously, I guess, subdue his more, I guess, psychotic side of his mind, and she moves the pills away from him so he can't get to them. And I just thought that part was really messed up, and I actually felt bad for Dex in this scene. I actually felt bad for the guy because obviously he's in this rehabilitation place, and he's trying to get better, but Vanessa is here to screw that up. And so basically that scene is just to show, I guess, how Dex got out of prison and how it's just a lead up to him killing Foggy. But yeah, just this episode, I gotta say it was pretty good. I enjoyed seeing Punisher and Daredevil back together. We also got to see Karen again, or Karen Page, back in this episode. She makes an appearance again, which I always enjoy. I feel like some people find her character kind of annoying. I don't want to say annoying, but like some people don't like her character, and I'm one of the people who actually enjoy her character. I mean, she's not one of my favorite characters from Daredevil, but she definitely is. I do think she is essential to Matt's character, mainly because him being Daredevil and him being a vigilante. There are many like parts, or just in the original show, there are many parts where like he feels like he needs to be alone, or he feels like he doesn't need friends, or he doesn't need any relationships to be Daredevil, or just be him. And I feel like but Karen and Foggy, even though Foggy's dead now, but when Foggy was alive, I feel like those two characters were kind of like a balance for, or like a thing that Matt needed in his life. Like, he needed friends, he needed a support system around him, or he needed people to tell him like, hey, yeah, you're Daredevil, but you're also Matt Murdock, and you're our friend, or we're your friends, and like we're always gonna be here for you. And so I feel like those characters were important for Matt, just like on a on a social level, because he doing this whole Daredevil thing, and it is kind of a risk because obviously when you're a vigilante and you're a superhero, your villains are going to use the fact that you have close relationships with your friends to basically get at you. And obviously that's what happens to Foggy in like literally the first episode of this season. And so yeah, man. So talking about other characters in the show, obviously Wilson Fisk is another character in this show. And talking about his character in this episode, obviously, throughout the whole entire season, or I guess for some people at least, we're starting to believe that maybe Wilson Fisk, and I was kind of like on the fence, but like once we got to like episode, I think it was 4 or 5, I think, when we found out that Wilson Fisk was keeping what's his name, Adam, in the basement this whole entire time. It was at that point where I realized that, oh, okay, so Wilson Fisk is still the kingpin, or he's still a bad guy. He's just really just trying to use this whole mayor thing to gain more power. And so in this episode, we really see Wilson Fisk becoming the kingpin that we know from the original show. And I gotta say, just in general, like there's particularly one scene, or there's a couple scenes, but there's particularly one scene with Wilson Fisk where he like, let me just say this, he does something to someone's head, and it's pretty gruesome. I think it's actually the most gruesome thing I've ever seen him do in this show, like ever. And that's saying a lot because he's doing a lot of gruesome things. But also, I mean, we get the Punisher in this episode, so his method of handling bad guys, he's just like shooting people in the head. He's freaking, there's a lot of like, this episode is pretty gruesome, and I definitely don't mind it. I'm here for it, and it's pretty cool. But in this episode, because the last episode, Matt Murdock saves Wilson Fisk from taking a bullet, and it's interesting because when this episode starts, there's a scene between him and Buck, and there's a part where Wilson is like, oh, what is Matt's like condition right now, or he's trying to know like how Matt is doing. And for a split second I was like, maybe like since Matt actually took a bullet for this guy, like maybe he's starting to come around a little bit. But no, that's actually not what happens. He actually uses this to his advantage and actually takes advantage over the fact that Matt is in the hospital, and he sends Buck to basically kill him. And so that part was really interesting because I kind of thought, I don't know, I kind of thought that maybe since Matt, did that, like maybe he would have some sort of respect for Matt in some sort of way, but no, he took a full advantage of it. And so I guess that's just another way to show that like Wilson Fisk is fully Kingpin. He is fully a bad guy. He does not like vigilantes at all. And he's gonna do whatever it takes to get rid of vigilantes like Matt, even if they do save his life regardless. And so I thought that was interesting as well. So basically, Kingpin, he causes like a blackout for basically the entire city, and he basically sends out his task force to basically kill any, I guess, like criminals or vigilantes that that they can find, basically. And so like they're coming after the Punisher and Daredevil. It's actually really interesting because when Daredevil, I guess because Buck goes to kill Daredevil, but Daredevil is able to, or Matt is able to escape the hospital, and he makes it back to his apartment. And when he gets to his apartment, Punisher is there waiting for him, and they both have a little fun banter towards each other. And the freaking task force, they show up, and we get this pretty cool scene of Matt and the Punisher teaming up and taking on the task force. Freaking Punisher is using all his guns, and freaking Matt is using his billy clubs to like knock out people. And I thought that was a pretty cool scene. So what's interesting about this finale in particular is that it actually doesn't end on good terms for the good guys. Like, it actually ends kind of on a cliffhanger. It basically ends with Wilson Fisk actually winning this time, and him actually getting the upper hand on Daredevil and the Punisher, and him basically taking over New York City as the mayor with his task force. So I thought that was interesting because I didn't think that's how this finale was going to go down, but it is how it's going to go down. And so this season ends with Matt putting together his own little army of, I guess, vigilantes is what you want to call it. I don't know if but it would be so cool if Spider-Man like teamed up. Like, that would be, bro, that's literally like what people like want so much. Like, they want Spider-Man and Daredevil to team up to take on Wilson Fisk. And obviously you have other vigilantes. You can have other vigilantes too, like the Punisher. I'm trying to think of other street level vigilantes. We do know that the Defenders would be pretty cool, like getting like Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, getting them back would be pretty cool. But yeah, like building like an army of vigilantes to take on the Wilson Fisk is, I guess, going to be the storyline for season 2. And so that's going to be really interesting. It would be so cool if Spider-Man showed up. That would literally be the best thing in the world. But I don't think they might do it, they might not do it. We'll just have to see. So yeah, man, just overall this episode or finale, I would probably give it like a 7 out of 10. It wasn't anything like amazing. I do think just the season just in general, I thought was good, but I do think you can definitely tell like episode 7, episode 8, and episode 1, you can just definitely tell it was made by a different creative group than, the middle couple of episodes. Just the way episode 8 and 9 are shot, just the way that I don't know, just like the way it's shot, mainly how it's shot, because I can tell a difference between, episode 7 and 8, compared to like, episode 7 or episode, the other episodes. But I do think, going back to like characters in this season, I do think some of the weakest parts of this season were some of the newer side characters, like Cherry, and Heather. I thought was, I don't know. I guess Matt's in her relationship. I didn't really care for that much. I thought it was interesting, like seeing, Heather be basically Wilson Fisk's like therapist, and Vanessa's therapist. So I thought that was interesting. But other than that, I didn't really care that much for the character. Some of the other side characters, or newer side characters, they're all right. I mean, we are supposed to get a season 2, so hopefully, they explore those characters more, I guess. I'm not sure. I also thought that the inclusion of, obviously Muse was another villain that we had in this season. I do think he was kind of underutilized in this season. I like the villain. I thought, the whole concept of him using blood as like graffiti on like the side of buildings, or painting graffiti with like blood, I thought was super weird and fascinating. But I do feel like the way they decided to end that character, I thought was kind of weak, and like I feel like we could have done more with the character. But I'm trying to think of other things. But I don't know, just overall I enjoyed the season. I don't know if also I think I said last episode that we were gonna get the black costume in the last episode. I thought it was actually gonna be in this last episode, because it's interesting. I was watching the whole entire episode, and then I remembered that we're supposed to get like the black and red suit from the comic books, and I was like, wait, we didn't get to see like the black costume. Like where'd that go? And apparently they're saving that for season 2. And I didn't know that, and so like I don't know if I said that last episode that it was supposed to be this episode, but like if I did, I was wrong. It's the next season. So yeah, next season is gonna be really interesting. Where they take these characters next, we'll just have to see. But overall, I would probably give the whole season, probably give it like a 7 out of 10. I feel like it's good. I enjoyed it, but it's, in my opinion, it's still not as good cohesively as like the other seasons of Daredevil, in my opinion. But yeah, man, that's gonna be it for my thoughts and opinions on the last episode of Daredevil and just this season as a whole. Leave down in the comment section below what you thought of the finale of Daredevil. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.